Hi, I'm glad you're here. I'm Marnie, and this is the beginning of a set of stories that I'd like to share with you of the things that Jesus has done in my life to redeem me and set me free and take my life from the place of being in ashes to being likened to a diamond by Him. And I just don't know for sure if I'm going to get a chance to write this all into a book. And I know that that was in the Lord's heart. So I feel like I'm going to do it in chapter form in a way, stories and miracles and principles that have helped my life to heal. And I hope that it will be helpful in helping your life to heal. I hope that there will be parts of the story and principles that you can pull from it that will be powerful for you. Um, it's my desire that you would be rooted and grounded, literally grounded into the love of Jesus, that it would bring you into a new kind of steadiness that you've never experienced before, that it would heal places of your heart that feel fractured and divided from who you know you really are meant to be. So, I'd like to share parts of my story with you, and I'll break it into different chapters as we go along. I'd like to tell you the story of the meat locker. When I walked into the counselor's office that day, I was coming with a heart that had been both physically and spiritually and emotionally pummeled. I felt like my life was like fine powder. And I actually had told the Lord at one point, I know that you've got these beautiful illustrations that I hear from other people about stained glass windows, and they're wonderful illustrations. They're stories of a person being broken and then those pieces being put back together into this beautiful pattern that makes something more beautiful than it ever could have been before it all broke. But I had to be honest with God and say, I don't think there's that much left of me. I don't think there's enough left of me to make a stained glass window. I feel like fine powder and I feel crushed. I didn't even know what color I liked anymore. I had been in an extremely abusive relationship and I had nearly lost my life because I believed that I needed to stay and try to be a better wife. And I fell for a lie that kept me trapped there. In order to survive what became a very, very violent relationship, I really carefully avoided feeling anything because I wanted always to be very attentive and alert and watchful to be sure that I was um, fully being sensitive, attentive, caring, present as much as I knew how. And it felt like feeling anything at all would just get in the way. So I walked into a counselor's office after walking through all this devastation. And one of the things that she suggested to me, one of the times that we met, she said, I'm really sensing that it would be good for us to invite Jesus to show you a picture of your heart. And this was a completely foreign concept to me, completely foreign. I had never asked Jesus for a picture of anything, much less of my heart. But to her, and she seems to be this wise, calm, um, peaceful, beautiful believer. And I thought, well, it doesn't seem strange to her. It feels really new to me. I'll just ask because she's encouraging me to ask, and she seems to know what she's doing. So I asked for a picture of my heart. Closed my eyes, asked for a picture of my heart, and immediately in front of me in this picture I get is this door. And I know instinctively that this is a door to a meat locker, a meat freezer. We had one in the little town I grew up in at the butcher shop, and this door was complete with the same sort of handle. It had this creaky handle that you pulled down towards you. And now I'm curious because I get the feeling that if I open that door, that I can open that door and that I can look inside and find out what's there. And I wanted to know what was inside. I felt really strange about having a picture of a meat locker when we prayed for something about my heart, but now I'm curious. So I reached for the door in this picture and I pulled on the handle. It's rusty. It's sound effects and everything. It's more than a picture. And sure enough, frozen meat packages. There's shelves around the room of, that butcher paper, that white meat wrapper. Maybe you've never seen meat wrapped this way, but when you have a butcher shop, you wrap it in this white wrapping paper and you mark what kind of beef it is. And there's all these packages that are wrapped in this white butcher paper. Plus, there's a couple sides of beef hanging from hooks up in the ceiling. And I'm like, I close the door and I'm thinking, I am not going to tell her what I saw because clearly I don't know how to do this very well and I better try again. But she could see on my face that I'd seen something. I said, let's try it again. What I saw, I don't think I did it right. And she said, well, would you mind telling me, what you saw? So I told her, expecting her to say, yeah, we should do it again. And she said, well, how about if we ask Jesus what that might mean? And I thought, well, you're taking this seriously? So I asked him. I wasn't used to asking Jesus anything like that. And clear inside my heart, I heard, Marnie, that is a picture of your heart. Those are frozen packages of pain. And I would like to have your permission to begin to defrost them. Oh, wow. He totally came through the back door. I felt like he read my mail. I had no idea that I had frozen away all of this pain. But when he said it to me, I knew it was true. I knew it was true and explained a lot about why I would feel so numb sometimes and feel like I couldn't feel, didn't know why I would become sad or angry or afraid, why I felt disconnected, why I struggled to relate with other people's emotions, why I sometimes didn't feel like I was empathetic. So Jesus began a journey with me of taking me from these frozen packages of pain that I had given him permission to defrost and beginning to thaw them out one at a time so that I could actually begin to feel again and to realize, oh, wow, there's a lot of hurt in there. There's a lot of pain. And then what he began to show me is that, okay, in all those different moments that there were painful things happening, in those moments, because I was afraid and I was preoccupied with what was happening, or I felt like I was trying to defend myself, I completely hadn't paid attention to whether he was there with me. And I had assumed that he wasn't there with me. So I felt like I had gone through all of it alone. And he helped me to turn my heart back toward myself in those moments that I had experienced so much heartbreak and so much pain, and to be willing to come back to myself with kindness and patience and gentleness instead of pushing all that away, pushing away and trying to stay safe from the pain I had felt and the fear I had felt and the sadness I had felt, and instead coming back in a loving posture towards myself in those places where I'd been hurt so much, reconnecting with those places that were so painful, and giving Jesus an opportunity to come and show me how he had felt about me in those moments, how he had seen me, how he had tenderly cared for me, how protective his heart was, how gentle and strong at the same time, how trustworthy. Time after time after time after time, I began to realize that I had left myself. But when I came back, he had never left me. He was always there. And he was always true blue, and he was always real. And he was always someone who would be willing to be with me no matter what shape I was in. If I was terrified, if I was furious, if I was bitter, if I was agonizing in pain, if I was sad, if I felt shock, he was always willing to be with me. I had never known Jesus like I came to know him in the process of him healing my heart. So I just want to start this series of stories by saying, wherever you are, wherever you find yourself right now, whether you have been in an abusive relationship, whether you have been an abuser, whether you have been trafficked, whether you have been addicted, whether you have been abandoned, whether you have been berated your entire life, whether you have stolen, whether you have crushed the lives of others, wherever you find yourself, Jesus is willing, right where you are, for you and him to meet, and for you to begin to experience the love that he has always had for you. He is the most true blue friend you will ever know. And I have found this to be true because I was captive and within my heart in the midst of so much hatred that I experienced. I developed so much hate and murder inside of my own heart. Time and time again, I saw that in reaction to how I had been treated, while I froze away all that pain, a tremendous layered system of bitterness and hatred and murder had developed within me. Over and over again, I had to open up to the darkest, blackest admission, like what I saw and what I had to admit to Jesus that was in my heart was so dark. And Jesus forgave me every time, and he gave me grace to turn around and forgive out of having been forgiven. And he promises that when we have been forgiven much, we will love much. It was Mary Magdalene that went to the tomb because she'd been so set free by Jesus. And she missed him so much when he had died on the cross. And she was the very first person that he revealed himself to when he was resurrected. There is hope for you. There is hope for you. You are still breathing, and you can use that next breath to say, help, Jesus, help. Right where I am, I choose to let you love me, and I choose to begin to love me too. I choose to begin to open the doors of my life and the compartments of my heart and let you defrost the packages in me. I choose to find out for myself that you have actually never left me. I want to challenge you to watch Jesus love you and give him a chance to do it. He will always win if you give him a shot at loving your heart, because his love will win you over if you just are willing to let him love you. He's taking me from all those frozen packages, and some of them were the size of a side of beef. They were huge. They were massive. They were so painful. They were completely overwhelming. But he's taking my life from the place of ashes to calling me, saying, I've restored you to being a diamond from the place of ashes. If he can do it in my life, as broken as I have been, I know that he can do it in your life. God bless you. Please pray with me. Jesus, I want to find out if what Marnie is saying is true. Will you give me grace to begin to open the doors of my heart in the places that I have closed off? Come back and love myself and give an opportunity for you to show me how much you love me right there where I was brokenhearted. In Jesus' name, amen.